Britain's most remote pub was being refurbished, and to celebrate its grand reopening, they were offering free beer to anyone who could get there. The Old Forge can be found in the town of Inverie, located on the Atlantic coast of the Knoydart Peninsula, widely considered to be Britain's last wilderness. There are no roads to the town, and the route would take us through valleys, up hills, around sea lochs, over mountains, and more mountains, and maybe I'll just find an easier route.
I'm joined on this trip by my old pal Sam and two new friends all the way from Ukraine, Anna and Marina. We packed our bags and hit the road.
Have you brought your passports? You need your passports to cross the border. Yeah.
Hey, you actually got them?
You'll just have to believe me that this is one of the best roads in Scotland.
To start our adventure, our destination for the night was the Cloghaid, a legendary mountain-owned pub in the heart of the Highlands.
Oh, what a bench place in there. Probably the best view ever.
Prisoner of Azkaban, the third Harry Potter. So this is where they built Hagrid's hut. Yeah, just there on that hill.
As we had arrived late, we wanted to check what time last orders at the bar was before pitching our tents.
Yeah, buddy.
What time?
Midnight.
Midnight is last orders?
Yep.
Alright.
Quarter to midnight.
Alright.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know I learnt a new word recently?
Go on.
Quaff-tide. It's a real word.
Okay.
And it means it's time for a drink.
Quaff-tide.
Quaff-tide.
Sounds pretty dirty. Don't know if I like it. But if it means drink,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm in.
And you are all my pot panions. That's another word I learned.
You're just making stuff
Well,
up now.
that means you're friends that you share a drink with. The real English words, I promise you.
Alright.
Got a race, Sam.
Oh. Yeah, go on. I haven't set this up before, by the way.
Loser buys first round.
Oh, go on then. I know exactly what I'm doing. How quickly can I read instructions? Oh, that was supposed to go in there. Interlocking the sections. What?
Oh no!
Oh, that's in Japanese.
This is actually kind of hard to do one person.
Oh, don't bring the excuses now.
Can you feel the midges yet? Ah, they're swarming me!
I have no idea what I'm doing with this.
That's not right at all.
You might catch me up here, you know.
Right, pegs, where's the pegs? Oh yeah, it's really rocky, this ground. I remember now. There's no way.
Just about 5 minutes, like you look very disappointed.
Filming a close-up of me sweating.
We're both on pegs. 2 more pegs.
1 more peg. Oh, it's just too rocky. There's no
Done.
way.
Beer's on you.
No, it's a... Come on, that's a draw.
Says the man still pegging his tent.
Ah.
Sam, what are you doing in there?
Don't come in.
With our camp set, we headed back to what is surely one of the best pubs in the world. The next morning, we headed further north, but not before stopping off for what is surely an essential start to any adventure.
Morrison's breakfast.
Oh, yes.
Here we go. This is Britain's longest dead-end road. 22 miles. We're going right to the end. Whoa, look at that. Here we are, this is the end here, look. We've made it to the start.
So you should use it. Sometimes it seems like it isn't real. Very cool.
Yeah.
Looks like you have to be a good driver. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, well, you can't blame my driving for the bumpy roads.
this point, I realised I hadn't tried to fully pack my bag prior to the trip.
What takes priority, clothes or food? Surprise for you two. Tired room? No. Tired room.
Old foundry. Where are we going, Sam? Old foundry?
It's the old forge.
No, I'm pretty sure it's the old foundry.
They're going to look at that and go, well, they don't know where they're going.
Let's go.
And so we set off along this epic sea loch into the wild, wondering what was awaiting us around the corner. The weather soon turned from windy to worse as we headed away from the coast and up into the hills. It wasn't long before we encountered our first water feature, and little did we know it would not be the last. This was just a sample of things to come.
Lagginess! This one's going to be a bit trickier. Right, it's so flippy. She's in. I bet you wish you had waterproof boots now.
Yeah, maybe.
We survived. Deep in the Scottish jungles.
Oh, shit.
did this hill, look. We did that one. But we're here now. And it's mostly going to be flat and follow the coast all the way along. There might be a bit of an uphill here, back down, and coming down into Barrisdale. And that's where we'll spend the night. So we're lost.
This was to be our last time rain-free until we reached Barrisdale. Even the weather couldn't keep my spirits down, as I had a secret weapon.
My little pistachio pouch. Oh wow. Oh. Oh boy. How are we going to cross this? Oh, a bridge. That's a bridge. Ah, saviour.
During the edit, I discovered that Sam had left me a little message.
This was a terrible idea. Terrible. This wasn't worth a pint. It better be the best pint. It better be the nicest pint I've ever had in my life. Ever. Don't you agree?
After several hours of trudging through the mud and rain, we descended the final hill and headed down into Barrisdale Bay.
Amazing how quick the weather changes and what a difference it makes.
It's nice and sunny now. Oh, it's as sunny as Scotland gets.
The mountain I propose to do is in there, in that cloud.
Whilst planning this trip, I realised we'd be passing one of Scotland's finest mountains, Inverie.
What do you think of that, Sam?
Pretty intimidating.
No. All well and good having waterproof boots, but still get water in them. How'd you feel, Anna? How'd you feel, Marina?
It's a bit hard, but I feel okay. If not right, it will be much better.
Yeah,
It's only
definitely.
because you're wet.
You look like a wet dog.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm loving it.
Yeah, he's in his element, Alex. Loving it.
Got the pistachios. It's Scotland. What could be better? The weather, yeah. How are we feeling? I'm feeling good. Sun's out. Yeah. We're nearly at the bothy. What a lovely day.
We set off for one final mile down the bay towards the bothy, which would be our home for the night, wondering whether the mountain was sensible or even possible if the weather would be like this tomorrow.
We're at the bothy. This is the bothy here. Look what's outside the door. We made it. The bothy is open. And we have friends. Hello.
Hiya.
So some chocolate.
That is a sad looking bar of chocolate.
Oh my god, it's peeling it off. Whoa. Mmm. That is nice chocolate.
Do you know what we need, Sam?
Is it a cup of tea?
It's a cup of tea.
Cup of tea time. Here we go. Here we go. We made it here in one piece. It's
just a bit soggy.
5-star.
5-star establishment.
The bothy exceeded all our expectations, as a bothy is typically little more than a stone hut and, if you're lucky, some bunks. In contrast, this one was the height of luxury. It even had electricity.
Slanger. So where are we going tomorrow, Sam?
Yeah.
I think we've overshot it, if that's the case.
Maybe not where it's not wet on the map.
Yeah. Where isn't it raining? We'll go there. Easy route. We're here, yeah?
Yep.
We've got to get there. We can come down here. It goes uphill from about here. But it's not too steep if you look at the contour lines. We can start walking up the ridge here. And it does get extremely steep at the top here. But this last, few hundred meters will get very, very steep. How do we feel fitness-wise, and how do we feel if it's raining, or if it's going to be like today, where it's on and off?
Like even windier.
Yeah.
I know that you want the hardest part, so we can do it.
Well, we should only do it if we're all happy to do it.
We are all happy to do it.
If we don't, it's totally fine to go that way. That was the original plan, and then I was like, ooh, there's a Munro here.
No, we can try because we don't back there.
Well, let's see what the weather's like in the morning.
Yeah.
Because if it's going to be like terrible weather, it's probably not worth trying.
Yeah, we can see in the morning.
Yeah.
If it's will be okay or like not worse.
Yeah.
In the evening, the sun came out and it was dry enough to take the drone up to have a proper look at the idyllic bay we had arrived in and survey the options for tomorrow. The easier route over the mountain pass, or into the valley and up the mountain.
What are you reading about, Sam?
The old forge. And how it...
Not the old foundry.
Maybe not the old foundry. Can I ask what you're doing?
Ironing my socks. Drying them out. I think it's a genius idea, but I have burnt socks in the past. Doing similar silly things.
Is that mine, actually?
Yeah. Breakfast is ready.
I see that it was a hard day for you before. Because now you have breakfast with socks.
Yeah, things... dire circumstances.
We're stuck here for 5 days.
How'd you feel about the mountain?
Well, the fact that I can't see it, it's a good sign.
All ready?
Tooling up.
How do we feel?
Okay for now.
Okay for now, until we walk outside.
Yeah.
What do we think about easy route or hard route?
What about this?
Well, let's go and have a look.
This looks okay for now.
If we do the mountains, is it just kind of basically one way, like the ridge, say? You have to go on the ridge, there's no two ways about it.
If we went up to the top, we have to follow the ridge round.
Yeah. How do you guys feel about not doing it?
What would you prefer to do, Anna?
I think it's very windy. The marina almost wet. Yeah, it's okay for me. I'm just not sure about wind. If it's wind and rain on the top, it would be a bit hard.
Leaning more towards to the easier route. How would you feel about not doing it?
Yeah, I'd be alright not doing it. Obviously, I'd prefer to do it, but it's what's going to be best, what's going to be safest.
Yeah. Have you guys been up any mountains before?
Oh, we have been, but it's only yesterday experience.
This bit's going to be really, really steep.
Yeah, which is
there will be scrambling on that.
Yeah.
If we got up to there, you know, the only way down is that way.
Yeah.
Along the ridge.
Then the alternative is this one down here.
Yeah. Which means we go up the easy route, and when we get to the pass, we've then got the option of carrying on, or if we feel up to it, we can say, hey, let's go and do that mountain. That's really steep, whereas here we're already halfway up. We've got to go that way anyway, and we've got the option of backing out, whereas that one we've got to commit to it.
Cool.
So I think that's probably going to be more sensible.
Mm-hmm. There's another mountain that's like, it's not as bad.
Yeah, so we do half
in the middle, not too light, but not too
hard.
hard.
Well, it means we start on the easy route, and then we get the option of just carrying on like that. If it's really wet or we're really tired, we can carry on, or if we feel up to it, we can go and do that one.
Yeah,
but I think the best thing about this, we can head back anytime, and it's not like disastrous.
Sounds great. And it still will be option for you to back here for climbing on the highest one.
Yeah, I'll just have to come back another day.
Yeah.
But I think
decision.
It's good. Cool. Right, let's go.
Onwards.
Let's go.
That is as Scotland as you get, isn't it? Rivers, beers, mountains, clouds, rain.
Yeah, that's Scotland right there in a picture. Blue skies. That's the hard route.
It's a trick.
That's the way we're going. So just over halfway, get to the pass, and then that's all the uphill, unless we want to do a mountain. Yeah, you look very happy. Much happier than yesterday.
We will be more happy when we finish this one. Yeah, it's a bit harder than you can imagine.
And this is easier than the other mountain. That would have been much steeper.
That's very good experience for us. Thank you. Because I'm not sure if we come here again.
Wait to the pub.
Yeah,
wait to the pub.
Do you want to reach into my secret pouch? My pouch of surprises.
I thought you'd never ask.
Look deep into my eyes, mate.
Is that deers from downstairs?
Yeah, that was the one that was looking at us through the window.
Yeah, it's awful.
We're at the top of the mountain pass.
Looking at the ridge we could have come along, it was clear we had made the right decision to come this way, but we still had to decide if we wanted to do the other mountain.
That's about 440, and even is 939, so it's double the height again.
Not today.
But in the end, we decided to press on, for the pub was calling.
I think the bridge is out. How are we going to cross this?
Subscribe and find out. Do we jump?
Let's go and have a look. I could jump that without my bag, but if I miss, it's game over. Yeah, go for it.
That was fun.
That's what you want. Bit of adventure.
Yeah.
That's what we came for.
Missing bridge. Love it.
I think the weather would have changed had we gone up the mountain. This is so nice.
Much better.
Yeah. That's where we were gonna go.
And this is where we are going.
That too also proved to be a good decision. For the first time in the trip, we were blessed with blue skies. As we reached the bottom of the valley, however, the ground flattened out and soon became a quagmire.
It's getting real boggy here, isn't it? I think my feet are wet by this point anyway. I don't think it makes a difference. Putting those socks on this morning was grim. The t-shirt was horrible. They've got the right idea.
Yeah. Well, one giant leap for mankind.
Medic! Medic!
Do you reckon I need to call air ambulance?
Big bandage. Well, I'm glad I didn't bring all this in vain.
Thank you very much. You saved my life. See?
I've got a finger bandage.
Look how bad it is.
That finger.
Wrap around the whole finger just for that.
Yeah.
There we go.
We got all the cameras on that. Bit of dramatic action.
Yeah.
Keep the viewers entertained.
You need to have the music be like really dramatic. Like, oh my god,
Injured.
and narrate over it sound.
Man down, man down!
I hope you're ending up now.
Yeah.
A lot of VFX.
Huge CGI, loads more fun. Like the finger hanging off.
Leave no man behind, come on, up we go!
Go into the pub. We're gonna need you back.
Oh, this map is soggy. we're here, look. Probably got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 kilometres left.
And then what's on the menu today?
We've got some spicy chorizo, some tutty scones, and a smoked cheese, or as Sam calls it, a cheese sausage.
As we neared our destination, the sun was still shining, and so we decided to stop and capture some extra drone shots of the landscape. But then, disaster struck.
Disconnected. You can see roughly where it is. There's a whole river in the way. I think it might be too deep.
No, it's not. I can see the bottom.
Here maybe, but you might have to. You'd probably have a better chance swimming. Well, you did it. I must be mad. Oh. Alright, where is Alex? Oh boy. Alex, what just happened?
That's a good question. I'm not entirely sure. Drone just disconnected, and that was that. Spent the last 2.5 hours searching for it to no avail, looking for a drone in one of Britain's most remote areas.
What do you think caused it?
I really don't know. I mean, it was a full battery. I wasn't flying fast. It was only 500 meters away. It was within line of sight. I didn't crash into anything. I think I can only think of 2 possibilities. One, that there was a particularly large gust that just flipped it and that sent it down, or it got attacked by an eagle.
I won't lie, I felt like we were looking for a body.
It does feel like we're leaving a man behind.
Rest in peace, Piper.
Rest in peace, Piper. That was the drone. On the plus side, my bag's a bit lighter now. I suppose off to the pub and where we can drown my sorrows. I did find this though, so take that back as a memento, a memorial to Piper. I plant it in my garden as a little gravestone.
In retrospect, I think the likely cause was the weather. Despite being in a waterproof bag inside my backpack, it is said that Knoydart rain is wetter than water, and I suspect that moisture had seeped into her circuits.
Yeah, there it is, the Old Forge pub. We made it.
Almost.
We actually did it.
A few more steps.
Too thirsty for a pint. Can't think straight.
We had reached the Atlantic Ocean and had arrived at the town of Inverie.
Signs of life.
Human. With human tools. Some would call a car. Is that what I think it is? Oh boy. Imagine if it said closed. It was closed now. I see a sign. Well, we did it. Oh, who goes first?
After you.
Wrong door. Oh, it actually is. Oh my god. Oh my god, that's good. That's actually good. Oh no.
I've got an idea.
Is there a pub anywhere?
Where do pubs get their beer?
Brewery? Is there a brewery?
There's a brewery up the road.
Is there?
Yeah.
Should we go there?
Let's go there.
We headed up the road to the brewery to collect our prize direct from source.
Consolation prize. Taste of success. Well, I don't know about success, but
We got here.
yeah, we got here. Well, taste of Knoydart. We'll say that. Cheers.
As we sat mourning the loss of Piper, drinking beers that we'd paid for, I reflected on the old adage that it's not the destination, but the journey that counts. Whoever said that clearly hadn't walked for 2 days in soggy clothes, lost their drone, and arrived to find their destination shut. But then again, perhaps the best adventures are not those which go according to plan, but the ones with which you can go home with a story to tell.